and I think there were 11,400 people at the Mid-South Coliseum. The fire marshal was screaming at me. But anyway, it was packed and it was electrical. And Eddie and I were standing at the back of the Mid-South Coliseum watching the match. And I got emotional and started crying. So I was kind of embarrassed that, you know, us macho wrestling promoters are not supposed to, you know, men aren't supposed to cry anyway. And I was caught up with emotion, and so I looked over, and here is big tears running down Eddie Graham's face.
So as a credit to the, I'm sorry, but as a credit to both of the guys in the ring with that build-up, and to have two people who ultimately know, you know, that it's what's going to happen. They were, you know, that's such a credit. Like you said, you don't see guys like that build this, you know, that kind of emotion, and you saw that. And as a promoter, as you know, gilded as you are in the wrestling business, that is definitely a lost talent, because you can see it in the movies with directors directing these people. And I would totally love to see that again in pro wrestling on pay-per-view. Again, the last thing I saw that was when Shawn Michaels was crying his eyes out. The film, you know, they did a close-up and he melted. I'm sorry, I love you, and he kicked Ric Flair. We need more of that.
Yes. Well, see, Shawn is one of the last of the great wrestlers. And he knows how to have a match. And you know what happens to a talent when you're in the ring? They go to believing it too. And that's the factor that makes a good match become a great, memorable match. The talent goes to believing it himself. I mean, you know, it's really, really hard. In the movies, they use teardrops and onions and everything else to make somebody cry. It's really hard for a wrestler to cry unless he's actually feeling the emotion. And I'm sure Shawn felt that emotion. I'm sure that something that Shawn was able to, in the moment, make it become real to him. And, you know, that's what I love about this business, and that's what I so miss about it. And I really hope that it will come back one day.
Okay, Mark, thank you so much for calling in tonight. Now, Jerry, we received another question in our chat room. DJ Kevin Lee wanted your opinion on what you feel is the best gimmick ever in the wrestling business.
Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys created him in Memphis, is that right?
Yes. I mean, and naturally I'm going to, you know, be self-serving because I did it. But what I know is that Sugar Bear Harris was a very, very limited wrestler. He absolutely could not throw a punch. I mean, it was horrible. It was the worst punch that I'd ever seen. And so I told him, I said, what you have going for you is your size and your size and your size. And he looked at me and he said, nothing else? I said, no, you're horrible at everything else. You can't make an interview. And Kamala drew sellout business everywhere he went because he took my advice and never threw a punch his entire career. He would chop, slap, didn't try to wrestle, just fought, and that takes charisma to draw money when you can't wrestle. Did you ever see Kamala?
Oh yeah, I saw him plenty of times, and everything you're saying is totally right. Something I always thought about him.
Yeah. The original Sheik was a great talent. The Iron Sheik, out of Missouri, my friend, was a great gimmick.
You know, we received another question in our chat room from Uncle Jimbo. He just wanted to get your thoughts on, if you had any thoughts on Bryan Danielson.
Who?
Bryan Danielson, who's one of the hot young.
Oh, yes. I think he's a terrific talent. You know, I don't know him personally, but I've seen a couple of his matches.
Okay, now back to what we were talking about earlier with TNA. What are your thoughts on Dixie Carter, both as a person and her management style?
Oh, I'll pass on that.
I'm definitely no Dixie Carter supporter, so.
My mama told me if you can't say something good about somebody, don't say anything at all.
Okay. You sure you don't want to say anything? That's open forum here.
No, I mean, you know, I don't. What is there to say? I don't. You know, I think that I don't like anything about Dixie's business management style. You know, I don't think has a clue what this business is about. And I don't really know her as a person. So my opinion is strictly, and I will make that clear, is strictly from observing her up close when I was there and from a distance in business. I'm sure she's a fine mother, a fine person, a fine wife, a fine daughter. But I just don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know her. We were never social friends.
So you never really worked really closely with her during your time in TNA?
No.
Okay, that was the
absolutely.
impression you had.
No.
You know, my general feeling is that, you know, with her position, her running a company with the publicity that it does, you know, all the time she spends on the Twitter and the Facebook and those kind of letting everyone know what's happening behind the scenes, you know, that's kind of letting everyone in a little bit too much is my general opinion on that.
Oh, I mean, you know, that's getting into the minutia of it. I don't like the big picture business. So, I mean, if I don't get past there, how do I get to whether she writes on Twitter or not?
Right, okay. Now, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share on with Jeff Jarrett so far as how he's running the business? And, you know, do you still have a good relationship with him?
Oh, no, we don't. We haven't talked since I left TNA. We don't have any relationship. And I don't know what his position is there. I don't have a clue.
Okay, that's because you were speaking of your granddaughters earlier, so I was.
Well, yes. Now I have a relationship with them, and you know, I want them to have a fruitful, good life. You know, you love your grandchildren. And you know, you're always concerned about their well-being and so that's the reason I hope, you know, if TNA were to close the doors, I don't know where Jeff would make a living. You know, he's burned a bridge with Vince, and so, you know, from that standpoint of how the girls would fare, is a concern of mine. Otherwise, you know, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Now, do you have a rib or a road story that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Do I have what?
Like a rib or a road story that you were part of or that you were aware of that you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, I don't know. Let me see. I've told so many of them. Fargo, that's kind of nasty. Well, anyway, you can use your imagination. Fargo had a coordination test for all the green guys that came into the business. And he would tell them, he would stand, and I would stand in front of him, and he'd draw a circle on the wall, and he would put his hand out behind him and point his finger, and walk backwards, and I would say left, right, up, or down, and he could hit right in the middle of the circle that he'd drawn. And he and I had done this little routine 100 times. Inevitably, after about the third time, the green kid would say, "What are y'all doing?" And Fargo would say, "We're going to have the commissioner's coming tonight. He's going to give a coordination test." And the guy said, "Coordination test?" And he said, "Yeah, you better be able to hit the target behind you from instructions. Because, you know, people are talking in the ring. You can hurt somebody if you can't follow directions." The guy said, "No, kid, what if you fail it?" "Well, you don't get to wrestle." So Jackie would say, "Here, when I get through one more time, I'll let you practice." So the guy then would get up there, and he's real serious, and I'd be directing him. Fargo would drop his pants and bend over, and you can imagine what happened when the guy got to the wall. And it would embarrass him, and you know, all the other guys would laugh and tell him what a goof he was. So, I mean, you know, it's just kind of like the initiation. That's one of them. There were, I mean, you know, it was just, the wrestling business is glamorous for about an hour a day. That's if you're working every night. The rest of the time is spent in cars or airports or airplanes and in a dressing room, putting your boots on and taking them off. For some people, the excitement is 10 minutes out in the ring or 10 minutes on camera. But the other 24 hours, 23 hours and 50 minutes of the wrestling business is kind of boring. So the guys end up with creative ways to entertain themselves. And that's the reason there's so many ribs in the business.